As you can now see, there's bubbles on the top and it has risen from the outside, almost double. And if you take a closer look, then you see that there's bubbles everywhere in the jar, including the top. So now I would watch and see if it starts to drop. When it starts to drop is exactly when I start baking. So now I put in my 150 grams of starter. As you see the bubbles, it's super bubbly and it looks ready. Now let's put in water. In this case, the water would be 300 grams. And then I will mix it. So you mix it well so it melts and blends in with the water before you add the flour, so that the flour can incorporate your starter well. And to this I now will add 450 grams of wheat flour. I have about 10 grams more and I will make it exactly 450. And then you mix it in. So first I mix it with the spatula and then later on I mix it with my hands so that all the clumps will go away and it's smooth dough. The dough will be a little bit sticky, but that's absolutely okay and that's how it should look like in the beginning. So now I will start mixing it by hand. Actually not me, but my friend. So go ahead. Now you see that the dough looks sticky and a bit watery, but that's absolutely fine. We're going to let it sit like this for 45 minutes and then we add 10 grams of salt. Now it's 45 minutes later, so I will add the salt. And then you can put drops of water into this salt mixture so that it blends well with the flour. So you add some drops of water. I take it in a cup, just take it with my fingers and I drop it in so as to wet the salt a little bit. And then you mix it well. If it's too sticky, you can also add a little bit water to your hands, but then I would really recommend trying to add less water in the beginning. And then the 10 grams would be with the salt and every time you have to mix the flour in. Now we wait for another 30 minutes and then we do our first set of folds. So here I'll do my first fold. I just take one hand. The first fold I do is just side to side and the coil fold comes the next one. So I first remove the sides. Then I lift the dough from one side, and since I have used higher hydration, the dough seems very watery, but that's absolutely fine. Then you let it sit. Now it's 30 minutes later and we're ready for our second fold. In this case we do coil folds, so you wet both your hands. Then you remove the sides as usual of the dough and then you fold in. Turn it around, do it from the other side. And then this way. So all the four sides. Then you keep it for another 30 minutes. Now we do the third fold. And as you see, the dough has a better structure. compared to before, and it will also hold better from the elasticity. Now we wait another 30 minutes for the next fold. So now we'll do the fourth fold. And you see there are a few bubbles already on the top of the dough. Now we wait for another 2 to 3 hours, and I will show you how the dough looks like when it's ready to do the cold proof and also the shaping. As you now see, my dough has bubbles on the top and also on the sides. It's a bit difficult to see it, but... And let's see if it comes out easy when I pull out on the sides. So even though it's not formed a dome, you see that it pulls out easily from the sides. It's better when you see there. So I would say it's ready. It's doubled in size from before, and I will try to do a pre-shape now. So for the pre-shape, I'm going to take rice flour. Now we let the dough fall. This is the time when you can add some inclusions to your dough. In this case, I'm going to keep it as a plain dough. So as you see now, I shaped it a little with my form. I'm just going to do a quick fold. Use a Banneton, but before you put the dough in the Banneton, you put the flour in so that it doesn't stick to your Banneton. So I just floored the Banneton, and it looks like this. Now I'm going to put the dough into the Banneton. So now I do a final fold on my bread. As you see, I just take the two sides, and now I turn it and I stitch it. So you stitch from one end to the other, just go one after the other, make sure it stays. Your dough should look something like that. Now we're going to top it off with some rice flour so that when it rises up with cold proofing, it doesn't stick to the sides. Then you can use a cloth. I use normally it's easy, it's elastic, and it helps you to have very good area coverage for your dough. And then I put it for cold proof overnight in the fridge. There it goes, and we will see it in the morning.